Hi guys, in this video we are going to look at the minor pentatonic scale. This is usually the first scale every guitarist learns, and for good reason. It is very simple to learn, yet very effective. It instantly delivers in a very musical way. It is the foundation of countless iconic solos, riffs, melodies in any genre. From blues to rock, to pop, metal, country, funk, you name it. So at the end of this video, you will be able to play this scale and its 5 different shapes. Connect the different shapes and know how and when to use this scale for your own soloing, improvisation, coming up with riffs, whatever it is. So let's get started. So what is the minor pentatonic? It's a 5-note scale. Penta meaning 5, and tonic meaning tones or notes, and scale meaning scale. So usually a standard minor or major scale has 7 notes to it. Let me show you the standard natural minor scale. Has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 notes, and then the next one is already the octave. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, the pentatonic picks out of these exact 7 notes only 5 and removes the tension notes. So this means it removes the half steps between the 2nd and 3rd degree and 5th and 6th degree. This leaves us with root, minor 3rd, 4th, 5th, minor 7th, and that's the 5 notes. Then it's again the octave. So 1, then again the octave. Of course, you can expand this in the to the upper octave. So it would, if you start from this A here, just the A higher up. This is the lower octave of the A. This is the higher octave. You could do the same. Landing on the A here again. Right? So when you see something like this, guitarists play, it means it is the minor pentatonic going 2 octaves up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Octave. 1. The octave is the 1, sorry. 2, 3, 4, 5. Octave. Right. All right. Now with this scale, it's very important that you're always aware where your root note is. What we just played, this is the first shape of the minor pentatonic. Usually we also play the minor 3rd and go back down to the A on the high E string, right? This is considered shape 1 of the minor pentatonic. Now, where do we have the root notes in this? We have it on the low E string on fret 5, then on the D string on fret 7. This is another root note, another A, because we're in A minor. This is the root. And then on the high E string on fret 5. These are our 3 root notes in position 1 of the minor pentatonic. Lick number 2, still in the same box. 2, 3, 4. Lick number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's have a look at the 4 other remaining shapes, which will really help you extend this minor pentatonic and spread it out across the whole fretboard, opening up the whole fretboard so that you will be able to play this pentatonic, access this pentatonic from any position on the fretboard, which also means you will have access to higher notes because you're going up the neck, so there will be higher notes and different fingerings. They will come into play and will allow you to play different phrases and licks. So let's have a look at shape number 2. And always keep in mind where the root note is. So let's start on fret 8 on the low E string, which means we start on the minor third of the A minor pentatonic scale. This is the root note. Another root note, the octave. And then you can obviously go back down the scale. So you see on the second shape, we don't start on the A, which is a root note. If we are in A minor, we start on the minor third. Right. Now let's go to shape number 3, which we start on the 10th fret. And what you might have noticed by now is going up the shapes also means choosing the note, the next note on the minor pentatonic as the starting note, right? We had the root note here as the starting point. On the second shape, we started from the minor third. Now we start from the 4th, which in the case of A minor is the D. You can play it here on the fret 5 of the A string, but for the third shape we start here on the low E string, right? So we go fret 10, root, root, keep in mind we're in A minor. Know the root notes. Right? So you should really visualize on the fretboard where your root notes are. Here, here, then. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's have a look at the next position, which is position number 4, which we start on the fret 12, which is the, we're in A minor, the 5th, the E. So we started here. Root, 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 right. I'm going always back down to A minor, so you see that we actually start on a different note of the minor scale. That, right? This is not the root. We are not in E minor, for example. We are in A minor, which means in A minor, this note here is the perfect 5th, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's go to shape number 5, which is our last shape, and we start on fret number 15. Root. Those are the 5 shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can practice all these boxes separately to really internalize it, and the next step would then be to connect them. So you could, for example, run up the octave on shape 1 and continue to the next octave in shape 2. Let me show you what I mean. All right. I actually have one more practice tip for you. I really found that when practicing those shapes, to really internalize them, it's useful to actually jump between them and leave some of the shapes out in between. This really forces you to think, all right, up there, what's the shape up there, right? So you can go, for example, you can jump from shape 1 to shape 3, right? and then do the same. Maybe go from shape 1 to shape 2, and then leave the third one out and jump to shape 4, for example, right? So you could go. Then the third one to the 5th shape down below. Now you don't need to learn all the 5 shapes right away. You can also just learn 1 or 2 shapes, and that's totally fine. Learning all of them could be more of a long-term goal. I think it's more important to actually be able to make music, even if it's just in 1 shape or maybe 1 or 2 shapes, than knowing how to run up and down all the shapes in all positions. It's more important to actually be able to know how to use at least 1 or 2 shapes well. So spend some time on each shape. After you have internalized the shape, it's like your foundation, but then try to make it sound musical. Try to play some licks and musical phrases that actually sound like music. Don't sound like you are just playing the scale, right? And a good way to practice this is playing over a backing track. So just find on YouTube, find a backing track. In this case, you could start with an A minor backing track. This is your starting point. Right, shape 1. It's important with finding a backing track that the root note matches the root note of the backing track. So for example, we are starting with shape 1 with the A as our root note because we are in A minor. If you find, for example, another backing track that you like, which is in C minor, you will have to find the C root note. So in shape 1, we basically look for the C on our low E string, which is on fret 8. Right, this is the C. So this is our starting point. We can start here with a shape 1. If we are in C minor, and then go up the shapes, or of course go down the neck as well. So depending on which shapes you have learned. But put them into practice, and very important that you actually listen to how it sounds, how applying this scale actually sounds, what kind of emotions it gives you, and what kind of licks or phrases work well for your playing. Now, over which kind of chord progressions or keys can you actually use this minor pentatonic scale? Now, the first and most obvious one is a natural minor chord progression in a natural minor key. Because all the notes of a natural minor key, which form the natural minor scale, they're shared with the notes from a minor pentatonic. So anytime you see a chord progression in a minor key, for example in A minor, and it uses all diatonic chords, which means only chords from the key, then you know you can use your minor pentatonic without any problems. Now, another interesting use of the minor pentatonic scale is using it over a Mixolydian type chord progression, which can sound really cool. It usually brings out a flavor of rock, blues, and it is actually used in rock a lot, the Mixolydian mode itself, and playing the minor pentatonic scale over this just works well and is very appropriate to the style. To give you an example, if you play the minor pentatonic, for example the A minor pentatonic over a Mixolydian 7-4-1 chord progression, it sounds really cool and gives you a rocky, bluesy sound. And for this, I also wanted to actually give you an example how this is applied in successful music, is in the song Take Me Down by The Pretty Reckless, right? Which is in E major and uses the 7/4/1 chord progression, and the solo at 2 minutes and 27, it starts the solo using the E minor pentatonic over the E Mixolydian chord progression. You can also play the minor pentatonic over a blues chord progression, which has usually the 1-4-5 chord, most often as a dominant type of chord, and using the minor pentatonic over this just gives you the classic blues sound, right? Now you want to avoid playing the minor pentatonic over a natural major key. It usually just sounds too dissonant, it sounds bad. There is too much clash between the minor third and the minor seventh of the minor pentatonic with the major third and the major seventh of a natural major scale. If you have advanced knowledge, you can use it occasionally to bring in some color notes, and there is actually an interesting article I found about this that I will link down below, where the author says that he likes to use the minor pentatonic over the 5 chord of a major chord progression just very quickly, so to say, as like a passing scale, and then going back to the major scale, and therefore having this little moment where your ear is like, oh, what's going on, but then going back to the major scale. So this is quite interesting, but as a general, I would say, rule, you should just avoid playing a minor pentatonic over a major scale. Now there are some advanced usages of the minor pentatonic that I haven't spoken about, and one of them is called superimposing. And this is quite interesting, but I have to be honest, I haven't tried it out that much, so I will link at least one source in the description below that speaks about this more in detail. And the core of it though is that you play the minor pentatonic starting on a different note of a minor key. So for example, if you're in A minor, you could play the E minor pentatonic over it, and through that you would actually access different color notes of the A minor scale. Now, as I said, I will link some stuff in the description down below. This is a more advanced technique, and you would have to know some more theory if you actually want to understand the different ways of superimposing and how it all works. But yeah. Now in this video I've only talked about the minor pentatonic scale and not the major pentatonic scale, although they are very closely related, but I didn't want to overwhelm you with information. Excuse me. So we can actually do a separate video on the major pentatonic scale, which might be shorter than this, I guess, because there is so much that you will already know. You will have the foundation down with the minor pentatonic to go into the major scale, so it shouldn't be a big problem. Okay guys, we're coming to an end. If anything wasn't clear, please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll happily answer and help you with any questions you might have. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider to like and subscribe if you want to support this channel, and if you want to stay updated with any future content, of course. And let me know if there are any topics you would like me to cover in future videos. Thanks once again, and I'll see you in the next one.